Hello, everyone. Look away. Look away. I'm gonna do something stupid. I'm so angry. I have done everything. Basically, I'm using a new phone, right? An entirely new phone. This is not. I can't. I can't fix it. I'm so upset. I do not have the energy for this. I spent the entire afternoon troubleshooting, eventually switching to an entirely new, clean, nothing, no settings, completely clean phone. And it's still flipped. I think there have been two updates from Apple and at least one from Twitch. Clean phone. They got to do something. They got to do something. My audio yesterday, I did cry. I'm not gonna lie. I had a difficult moment because I'm already like it's an endo episode, right? I'm in an endo episode, so I'm already my energy is already at its lowest. My brain is already overloaded. The painkillers are only as much fun as how do I say that? The painkillers are only as much fun as much pain as I have to endure for the fun. So it's not really that fun. It would only be fun if I wasn't. That's a good one, Carmadio. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna email them. I'm gonna email them like actually now because now I have really done everything that I could possibly do. No, I forgot. Stop. There's really physically, emotionally, spiritually, technologically nothing I can do. Literally nothing. So I'm gonna try not to cry as I assemble this email where I lay out once again. Listen, it's not me, it's you. Even the clock doesn't care anymore. That's right. Yeah. Oh God. Let me say hi to everyone. Loop, hi. How are you doing? Hi, Seg Iguana. Hello. I'm gonna do my best as I try, but I'm so tired of this crap. Yes, these are the books that will be reading this month. Thank you, Carbadio. I have already started Flawless. We're gonna have a little bit of an adjusted schedule today because I did not get around to the raffle yesterday for March. So we'll do that. We'll get that over with before Twitch decides to mess up my life again. So we'll do that in a little bit. I have already started Flawless by Elsie Silver, which is a cowboy romance, except I'm afraid it's smut. It's gonna be smut. I hope there won't be too many details about the bull riding itself because I know how that works. I'm not interested in the details of that. So I'm gonna have some commentary about that probably because if you don't know about bull riding, oh, let me tell you, there is nothing nice about bull riding at all. Um, the other one I haven't started yet. I haven't even prepped it yet. Hi Riku, how are you doing today? And Wisdom, hello. We have sound. Yeah, luckily I don't know what that was. That had never happened before, but I'm guessing I said things that someone didn't want me to say. Keep silencing me. That just hold on. Keep doing weird things. Keep making me feel paranoid because these days, getting the feeling that I'm paranoid is only making me feel like I'm in the right direction. So keep going. If it's a new phone, it's obviously a problem on their end, which they don't give a crap about. Yeah, I'm very afraid that's the case. But I will continue. I will continue spamming their mailbox. At some point, they're gonna have to listen. You would not believe the patience I have when it comes to when I'm actually really fully 100% sure that I did nothing wrong. You're gonna fix it. Well, but I might have to. Oh, I completely didn't do the other emotes. I'm so sorry. Um, was it both Winston and Tusha? Winston was angry at me during our walk this morning. Erin isn't here. Okay, I don't see you. I know, Lou, but I cry so much. I cry a lot, and sometimes it's just like, you know what? I don't want to cry today. Just one day. But alas, I do feel like all the hours I spent troubleshooting and setting up a new phone was completely wasted. I'm so tired. Just there were other things I needed to do that I couldn't do. Oh, Twitch, oh, Twitch. Why must you be a bitch? Oh, Twitch. That feels like you have to say that in a lamenting way. Oh, Twitch, why must you be like this? Why must you? I don't know. I don't know. What I was talking about yesterday, though, was this. I don't necessarily recommend this. I'm not sure why it was submitted, but I have made it clear that there's one element in this book that I just don't agree with, and that is the use of dogs, either a robo dog, shadow dog, or human dog. It doesn't matter. Do not mess with animals. Don't mess with animals, especially if it's not necessary. He could have done something different, but alas, I do want to try and continue the series, but I'm a bit cursed. Because ever since I said that I want to spend some of my time this year working on the series that I've already started, somehow I think 4 out of the 5 books, just giving a number, that I've read so far were series. We're the start of a new series. That's not going to plan. Don't worry, I will prioritize the series that I'm really deep into, like Wheel of Time. But yeah, that was. I opened up Ithaca, and it's a series. Like, fuck. How do I do this? I don't know. I don't need this. Squeak, I don't have a copy of. Squeak is the other book that we read for January for the book club, and I did like that a lot. And I think what I left off on was trying to explain that Vera Valentine is not a serious author. Yes, she's a very good writer. She knows what she's doing. But it's not... there's smut books that are very serious about the smut. They really mean it. And that's fine. If that's your thing, you do you, boo. But Vera Valentine is not someone who writes it to be serious. She writes it beyond the point of ridiculous, where it's just fascinating. At least that is what I experienced with Squeak. A balloon animal, a megaverse, I think is the entire title. I'm afraid that we're going to have to do some spanks already. And do I recommend it? Nah, I mean, if you're prepared for... Because it is quite heavy-duty, pretty extreme smut. So, please be warned. Look it up if you dare, but it's not to be taken too seriously. I have to do my arm workout. Hold on. She's been feeling a little bit better. Right, baby? Right? Can't you make noise when I ask you to? We've been training and working and practicing on self-defense. From wisdom. I'm sorry, wisdom. Human dog, I'm going to answer. From Winston. And I feel like she's starting to get back to who she was. Just like I am starting to feel a little bit more like myself. since for the first in like 2 years, I think. Human dog. All right. In Vert by Jeff Noon, there are humans, and there are dogs, and there are robots, and there are shadows, creatures that are I think it's shadows. I'm not entirely sure. It could be another word, but think of shadows. But all these creatures could also, so humans can be part robot, part shadow, and part dog. And that goes for all those creatures as well. Even though there's full blood of all those, they could all also be part, say, dog is part human, dog is part robot, etc. And it was already off-page implied that dog humans and human dogs do things because humans be humans, right? Unfortunately, Rule 34. And that was already on the verge of me wanting to DNF, as in, I am not sure I agree with this, even off page. I don't know what the purpose is. Not sure it adds anything to the story aside from pushing boundaries into a field that I am highly uncomfortable with. And then at the end, there was one scene, one of the group of the main protagonist's buddies, so to say. Is that a good scratch? What's happening? Is a dog, a robo-dog. So not a full-blood dog, it's a robo-dog, but that dog gets held hostage. And before that, there was a scene with a humo dog, a girl that was also a dog, and she's a corn star or something, I don't know. And the main protagonist has a moment with her. That was, you know, she's human and then dog. So, don't agree, kind of nasty, but I guess we'll keep reading. But then came the part where oh no, this is so inappropriate. The dog that was part robot got held hostage, and the dog was touched in ways that you should not touch a dog. The writer also decided that the dog enjoyed being held hostage and being touched. So that made me want to barf. I feel so stupid like this. And that was the moment where I completely disconnected from the book. Everything about that book, I Blue, is super interesting. The concept, the world, the vert feathers, which is drugs. The vert stands for virtual reality, but with a U, and you basically get transported into another dimension if you have these feathers, and you dip them in your mouth or something. I don't know. And they forced the robo dog into the vert as well, which is also something I don't know. Either way, the robo dog is held hostage and gets essayed basically. But the dog enjoyed it, so I guess it's okay. No, it's not. I disconnected from the story. I hated pretty much everything that came after. The ending was just an anticlimax as well, and it was just bad. I want to continue the series so you don't have to, and I can explain to you whether this is just a messed up writer that really needs to learn a few lessons in ethics, because they do exist even in books. If it had been the point, if it had somehow been the point of that story of art, that then it would have made sense, right? Like that these creatures are being abused and used, but that's not the point at all. It's just shock value. I don't know what you want, baby, but this is, thank you. Anyway. I'm already sweating. I should probably not have put on a big sweater with my hair like this, but anyway. Yeah, she does love her Spanx, Guida. Guida, I'm sorry. Hi, Andy. Good morning. So yeah, that was Vert. Shall we see? We can just really quick try to find a... Oh, this is not... If you're curious what I am listening to today, by the way, I'm going to try to let you know, because I usually listen to something interesting. This is what I've been listening to this morning in bits and pieces. Decided that Sasha Riley 2 days in a row is probably not a good idea. I tend to take a few breaks, a few days break after I listen to a bit of Sasha Riley's tapes. Let's see what Pollen is about, which is the second book of the Vert series. Yeah, so what I suspected, if the ending is really stupid as well. It was such a cop out, and it's just stupid. And I suspected that the series would be kind of like the Seven Waters trilogy by that author that has a last name that makes my brain go and I cannot pronounce it, which means that it's in the same universe but not the same people. So the second book of the third series is about the sweet death of Coyote. Master taxi driver was only the first. Soon people are sneezing and dying all over Manchester. Telekinetic cop Sybil Jones knows that, like Coyote, they died happy. But even a happy death can be a murder. As exotic blooms begin to flower all over the city, the pollen count is racing towards 2,000 and Sybil is running out of time. Give me a second. That's bad. Because basically the person that was lost in the first book, the sky is so beautiful right now. There's sun from behind me and it's shining against the edge of the forest, but there's storm clouds behind the forest, so that's gorgeous. In the first book, in Vert, Scribble is the main protagonist, and he has lost his sister in the Vert, and he has to find this special feather, and the pollen that are mentioned here are basically very deep in the Vert. So now I'm fascinated. That's what makes me sad about this whole dog situation, because if delete the dog and all it implies, and then it's an amazing story. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. 2013. The pollen from the first book are basically like the end of Vert. All right. Oh, let me go back to chat. Ooh, sorry. Good noon to you, my friend. Hello, Storm. Hello. Picturesque. What is? Oh, my view. Yes, I love my view. That's why that's why I stare out the window quite a lot. Hi, Telemere. Yeah, I know. Weird, right? But that is what Twitch has been telling me, and I have done literally everything I can to change it back, but it's not me. It's not me. It's them. The special feather. Yeah, wisdom. The thing is, so they have this one feather, right? And it's a group of five people plus one dog, and they have this one feather. And one of the characters is always like, "You don't go in without me. We go in together. You go do it." So he goes last, so he can make sure that he can swap everyone with the feather in the mouth, right? Everyone gets swapped in the mouth with the same feather. No, thank you. I don't need that. No, thank you. I'll stay here in the boring real world. God dang. That alone had me just like, Shame you can't take a picture of this guy at the moment. I'll try. Okay, I have to remember, because we need to do this. And something else that I wanted to say yesterday, but I just didn't get around to. Yes, I did grab. I did. Thank you very much. I wish I didn't have to, but at least I found a new skill. I did not forget Patreon. I was in severe physical and mental pain, and I couldn't get out of the shrimp position. So I didn't do the walk last week. Now I almost worked ahead, which is something I don't want to do, because I want to make sure that I'm current in what I have to talk about. And I almost went to do the walk with me, and I wanted to do it secretly and then release it this week, because I knew there was a chance that I would be in pain. Now, I didn't get around to it, and I figured it would be fine, except I was so shocked and actually triggered into a CPTSD episode. I wasn't kidding about that. After Saturday's news about Alex Brady, that I was a week late with my period, which is extreme, because I was already late at that point. I'd already been processing some stress of the year. So I was so upset and emotionally just kind of crooked from that news from last week, that I have been in a hormonal disaster the entire week. And when I finally did get my period, it was so painful that I cried through my painkillers. They're not always as effective, especially if it's a heavy episode like this, where it builds up for over a week. Hi, Tingy! Welcome back. So I was supposed to do the walk this week and upload it this week. I wasn't prepared to be in my period, and especially not that heavy. I didn't forget about it. I am going to do it a little bit differently this week, but I'm going to upload it by the end of the week. So just so you know, I didn't forget about it. I'm just getting better at actually just allowing my body to be sick, because I physically couldn't, and I'm getting better at not feeling guilty about it, because that prolongs the episode usually. I'm not okay either today, but you know, it's less than last week at least. But with which I mean to say, actually, the skies are like this for quite a while still, and I'm sure I can get some images for the video for the walk with me as well. But I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. The way I've planned it now means that I will take you audibly with my morning walk with Winston. I'll just babble away while Winston is walking on logs and getting angry at me when he gets himself stuck. And then I'll go out on a different, maybe later that day, and get some video. But that's what I'm going to do for the walk with me. I know it was supposed to be uploaded. Well, supposed to is maybe a bit harsh, but I usually do that at the end of the month. This is why it wasn't there. I was going to explain that yesterday as well, but alas, I wasn't allowed. Because my audio just flipped. Twitch has nothing to do with the Wi-Fi. Exactly! That's just your local network, and the Wi-Fi has nothing to do with the camera. It's like, I know, Telemir. I mean, I had to send it to Erin, the email that I got. They also said, have you changed your time and date? Because sometimes the time and date, if you have that on custom, that will mess up your camera. Like, I'm so angry. What do you mean? If I change the date on my clock, the Twitch app, because if I film in my normal phone camera, it's not this. This isn't happening. It's only the Twitch app. I only use the Twitch app. No OBS, no Streamlabs, no nothing, because I need it to be simple and analog and just no stress. I'm stupid for thinking that it's possible. It's not. Well, several of my friends have reportedly been late lately since that a wave of bad energy has passed through the feminine side. So for me, it was literally seeing Alex Brady be executed in the middle of the day, and then the instant media response, the White House response, the gaslighting. I have had for a while now. I've had the suspicion that the reason I get so upset when I hear Code Orange talk, like physically, and I can't. I have to. If I'm trying to keep up with the news and there's a segment where he actually talks, I have to mute it, because I get upset. And this situation with Brady, well, actually after Renee Good, I already had like, I'm actually being triggered. This is so serious. And then Alex Preddy happened, and my entire body went into CPSD lockdown. And that probably doesn't look for you like it feels for me. I'm really sure, because I was for 19 years I was trained to not show any sign of weakness, because I was raised by someone who speaks and thinks and behaves like Code Orange. So you probably, but from on the inside, I was so upset that even my period didn't feel safe, because that's what the female body does. When you are so stressed and so upset, that translates to your body to, it is not safe to be that vulnerable, because I'm exhausted from bleeding, from being in pain, from the hormones. I need more sleep. So if that is as current as I think it is, the reason that women are afraid is because, first off, Renee Good was offed in the middle of the street, and the news was, I mean, she was gay, she had purple hair, she shouldn't have been there. And then Alex Preddy, and I can promise you also that women are going to be a lot more aware of what has been happening forever, for always, to indigenous people, to Native American people, to Aboriginal people. A lot of women know what happens to those girls, and that 99%, for one, don't get any media attention. Two, the police doesn't believe it, because now we know the police is in on it. And three, they just disappear. No one talks about them. I have known this for years. And the developments that we see now in the US, women will know, even if it's not conscious, instinctively, we are in so much danger. It doesn't matter where you are. It really doesn't. We are in so much danger as a species, but women specifically. Our rights have been taken away already in the US. It started with abortions. And for a man, it is very hard to actually grasp the full consequences of what that means. And it's too much. It's too complicated for me to go into. For one, because I am not a specialist on this. I don't live in the U.S., so I can't give you that experience specifically. But you could just try to find your own information. Try to find out what happens to indigenous girls, especially. What happens to the Native American girls, especially the Mexican girls, because that is where the news is focused right now. I can tell you that it's all around the fucking world. Doesn't matter where you are. You can be in the middle of the Sahara and a man will find you. It's just a fact of life. So that a lot of women are late with their period, that doesn't surprise me at all, because our bodies know. Our bodies hold what our ancestors went through. We know. That doesn't surprise me at all. It is very worrying. But the reason I can't listen to Code Orange is because he literally triggers my CPTSD. And I was in denial about that a little bit, because how can some guy, well, it's not some guy, but how can someone on the other side of the world who does not physically control my country, as far as I know, not directly, how can that person make me so upset with 3 sentences? Now I know. And I'm not the only one who has been saying this. Lucas Jones is a amazing poet from the UK. And I think 2 days or 3 days after I said it on stream, like, this is an abusive relationship. The US is in an abusive relationship with its citizens. Well, the other way around. The citizens are in an abusive relationship with the government, because they're not doing the bad thing. The government is not doing the bad thing. The way you're being treated in the US right now is how I was treated growing up, except it's now on a bigger scale. Being abused in a growing up is micro, and I guess that would be macro scale. I don't know. But I cannot listen to that man. Have never been able to listen to that man, because the way he speaks is just inherently manipulative, abusive, minimizing everyone, and he is the greatest, the best. Oh, come on! We should do a study on behavioral problems. Skies here are depressing. Shade of blanket, chemtrail, barium, strontium, aluminum, and other toxic. Wowism. I actually think that gray skies can be very pretty too. You just have to pay a little bit more attention. A little bit more. Yeah, what loops are just a Twitch app that you used to watch. With further socialist healthcare, yeah. Oh no, oh no. It's really pissed me off how they tried to paint Alex as a criminal. How he apparently had a gun in his hand when it was his phone, and the weapon he did have was legal and tucked away in his holster, in his back holster, that it took from him, and only realized that he had when he was on his knees, face down on the concrete. They didn't know he was armed until he was already face down. You can hear it. You can hear them say it. Yeah, took him over and then executed him. Then they want to find and share a video of him allegedly clicking out the tail light of an ICE vehicle and claim they were justified. The interesting about that video for me, Soren, was that when the first videos came out of him being, killed, everyone said on the opposite side, right? The people who were who didn't want to believe what they saw. And everyone was like, well, we don't know what happened before. We don't know what happened before. Well, what happened before is he was trying to, regulate traffic. And that's it. That's really it. The ICE agents started to flock him, flock a woman. He tried to get in between, and then he was punished for it. But I'll tell you one thing. That video of him kicking out that light, which I'm 95% sure that is him. What happened before that, huh? Why did he do that? What did the ICE agents do to make him that upset? No one's asking on the other side that question now. They just see it and then it's enough. So the double standard is terrifying. It's really stupid in my eyes. You really show your soul by doing that, in my eyes. So I want to know what happened, because to me, it seems like they probably did something to piss him off in the first place. And if you look at it, it looks like the ICE agents were on purpose blocking the road, which was why Renee Good was in the situation that she was in. And that was what he was trying to prevent the day he was shot as well. He was trying to make sure that the agents didn't have reason to start to attack people. That is what I saw in the second video as well. Like, you're causing trouble. You're causing trouble. Get out of the road. What are you doing? That is what I saw in the second video. But what a lot of people are saying as well is that not only does it show that he was out there trying to stand up for his fellow human beings, this is also kind of proof that it was premeditated. Because they were really quick at jumping him. All of them. All of them. And there have been stories. Well, stories. I've seen people in car, and actually that was what the cop that Renee Good was confronted with did as well. Walking around the car and filming. You know what they're doing? They're scanning faces. They're logging faces of protesters. And then they're going after them later. That is what is happening. And it happened in the Netherlands as well already. Remember the woman who said, Dutch people will remember, that had a police officer at her front door days after she'd been protesting? What are you doing at her front door? That is what is happening, people. So wear masks. Wear masks. If they're allowed to do that, we should too. That is what they're doing. It is very, and I believe this to my core, he kicked off that light after trying to intervene when they were causing trouble. He kicked out their light and he was marked from that moment on. From that moment on, they decided, you are not scared of us, so we have to make an example of you. Because he wasn't scared of them. He wasn't. And they can have that. That's what they thrive on. That's what they need. They need people to stop asking questions, to stop witnessing. Believe the news. Don't believe your eyes. I believe that he was targeted. They knew where he was. They might even have used the first push as an escalation and set it up just from the beginning. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. Hi, Millie. I think it's justified to kick out the tail light anyway. Maybe not smart, but justified. I mean, it's, if anything, it does not mean you are now going to be treated the same as some groups of people have treated other people that we see on the news, and we call them savage. We call them savage. Then what is that? What is that? You know, they're treated in such a way, if only other people weren't consumed by greed, power, control, and all the other things. Yeah, because that's it. They get lured in by money, right? Get a 50K bonus? Jesus, that's more than a lot of people make in a year. Of course, there's going to be desperate people that respond. It's insane. It's insane. I feel like he was targeted, and they got the wrong person. They got the wrong person. Because if that tail light is the worst they can find, otherwise there would have been more things. They have been working overtime to try and find things to prove that Renee Gut and Alex Preddy were, in fact, what they claimed they were. They were not. They were not. They were really not. Otherwise, we would have seen the bad stuff already. It would have been pushed down our throats. If there were bad things to say about these people, we would have known by now. We don't. And that says enough. That is the worst thing they could find. And it puts them in a worse position. Huh? Different programs run in different ways. The world is not what most people think it is, and in its current state, the power mongers feel super threatened. Be wise in your disagreement. I agree. Remember that any law enforcement officer has to disclose their office ID upon request, use that, and make some lists. Yeah, that's the scary thing. That they're allowed to wear masks. And if they did the thing, if they were doing something good, if they were truly getting criminals off the street, they would not even. They would be glad for people recording them. They would be relieved that there is proof of their good work. They would be happy to show their faces because look at us being the good society, right? Aren't they given power above normal law enforcement? Assume they aren't required to follow that code. They think they are, but they're not. They're not. Well, actually, we say ice, but it's not actually the ice cubes. The ice cubes do paperwork. What we see on the streets is something with a D something. It's not actually ice, because ice does border and something control, which means that. So let me put it like this. They say they are taking illegal people off the streets. But how can they know they're illegal if there's no paperwork? Because in order to be illegal, there can be paperwork. That's what it means to be illegal. You don't have the paperwork to be legal. And they're also claiming that these people they're pulling off the streets and pulling out of their houses and out of their schools and churches and hospitals are people who have done heinous offenses. So if they did heinous offenses, that means there's paperwork because they were already caught by the police or the FBI or the CIA or whatever, which means that they were already in custody. Who let them out? If they're criminals and you know they're criminals, that means that you had them in your custody at some point and let them out again, right? Because ICE does not actually do this stuff. They take people out of prison, people that have been caught. It makes no sense. It's just an escalation. Why? I don't know. I can't. I don't think crazy people have thoughts. Yeah, federal, but that's not. It's complicated. That is complicated. But they have no right to execute people on the street. Period. They should not shoot to kill. They should shoot to, hurt and incapacitate. Speaking on the indigenous people, they deserve so much better, especially indigenous women. I'm pretty sure to this day there is no formal statistic on how many missing indigenous people there are. No, there's not. There's no safeguard or measure to combat it, and it makes me so sick. They're not taken seriously, Storm. They're not taken seriously. Oh, and you really don't want to look into... The reason we know so much about birth and the complications of birth is because white men used slave women without painkillers to do their research. You have to have a very, very strong stomach if you want to look into that. But that happened way more recent than a lot of people will want you to know. Officers are allowed to hide their government's identity for personal and familial security reasons, and that's fine. Just make sure you get their officer ID so you know to file a complaint. Yeah, I agree with that. But don't hide your face. If you're not doing something wrong, don't hide your face. Oh, I believe that story. The thing is, the dangerous part for women, especially, is pretty much anyone can make sure they look sort of like these thugs, and they can kidnap anyone. Do you know how dangerous that is? They can literally take anyone off the street. It's anarchy. It's basically anarchy, except the bad anarchy. The bad anarchy is not the good anarchy. There will be a day after this, and they fear repercussions. I mean, it's a shitstorm at the moment. It's not, but I believe there's also stories of plainclothes police officers, people of color that get arrested, and then I've seen videos of Native Americans that are almost pulled into custody. Woo! Then that's a lot of guts. That's a lot of guts, I feel like. But that's what I mean. They're not being... If they're arresting each other, there's something really wrong. That's not okay. It's really not okay. They're really busy in Ukraine, Iran, and Venezuela. We have to pay attention to Iran as well. Yeah. They mustn't have self-number problem there. I am not sure what you mean with them. Trump and Vance say they have absolute immunity, but it's not just true if they say it. Legally, they do a lot of things they're not allowed to. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I've seen a lot of... for both Renee and Alex, lawyers unraveling the footage, all the angles from both Renee Good and Alex Purdy. I've listened to lawyers who would have picked it, who would pick this up in court, and trust me, neither of those situations, nothing about it was okay from beginning to end. And in Renee Good's case, were you aware that they let her bleed out for 8 minutes, and that there was a physician at the scene screaming at them, "I'm a doctor, let me help, she's bleeding out"? No. Okay, understandable, because you can't know that. They could go over and check credentials, but it feels like they have a very strong distaste for credentials. So that could be a reason why they didn't allow this doctor to approach Renee Good as she was bleeding out in her car. So this doctor started to scream, "At least stop the bleeding. I'll explain it." No. 8 minutes. There is proof. 8 minutes. She would have survived easily. Even though she was shot in the head. From the side, by the way. Not the front, from the side. 8 minutes. And there was a doctor on the scene. If only for that reason. If only for that reason. But like I said, I've watched. You should do your own research as well. Don't listen to me. I can say whatever I want, and I'm sure I'm messing up a detail here and there because I am only human as well. But I looked up lawyers who are familiar with, well, not this crap, but like situations like this. Yes, Bracken. No one is illegal on stolen land. I am so impressed with Billie Eilish, and I'm glad that other people are finally speaking up as well, because she was one of the, if not the first, that called them out. I'm technically safe in most situations as I'm a white male presenting individual, but then I'd probably get beaten or worse because I wouldn't stand for the evil if that. Well, you would end up like Alex, Storm. Sorry to say it, but if that is not something that the world hasn't understood yet, then it was never about that. It was never about that. It was never about color. It was never about race. It wasn't even about gender. It's about money. Yeah, right, Storm? They had their own doctor? Sure, yeah, I believe that, Bracken, and they did exactly what they're meant to do, which is make sure there's less witnesses. Okay. Yeah. No, they didn't do anything. They just let her bleed out. I saw the footage. It's gonna be a while, Wisdom, but that means we just have to bite down, and don't let them convince you that there is no point. There is. It's just gonna be very slow. It's just gonna be very slow. But you know what? We can do it. We are better. We are better than that, and we know. Okay? Oh, I'm afraid that's true. I can. I love Billy too. I love Billy too, Storm. The world operates on political expedience, and the observer operates on emotion. Never the twain. It seems like the world has the world, and I am talking about those who control it, have no conscience and have no sense of honor, don't care about honor, they don't care about honesty. In fact, they think it's amusing that their opponents are so true of heart, so brave. They spit in your face for that. They love that. They love that we refuse to let go of our principles, our morals, our ethics. They think that's hilarious. Because if you do, look at where you can get. Epstein Island! That is it. That's what I'm seeing. It's not necessarily emotion. It is actually caring for other people, what I'm observing. Politics, man. Politics are stupid. Bonjour. This is why patience is a virtue. Yes, it is. We will get there. We will get there. Don't give up. I mean, it's only natural to feel sad and hopeless and be angry, but also choose love. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a hard one, it's a stupid one, it's a frustrating one, and it's an angering one at this moment in time. But I am pretty sure that at the end of my days, I would rather have been through this side of anger than the other side of anger. They spit through forked tongues. I don't understand it, but I suppose it's the way I am, that I'd rather die than... Yeah, sir, but this is what other nurses, especially ICU nurses, have said. The moment they pushed that woman down, Alex had no choice but to interact. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I have put myself in dangerous situations with strangers that suddenly started hacking at each other so many times. Because I know I am a small white woman. And if there are a few men around that are not doing anything because they, I don't know, maybe they're frozen, maybe they don't think it's their business, whatever their reasoning is, if a small woman decides to jump into a fight, their egos, and I'm sorry to put it like this, but their egos will immediately get bruised. And now they have to help me. Because fuck, a small little lady dares to jump into two fighting men, but we don't, we can't have that. I know I hold that power and I have used it. That is what Alex did, but from a different perspective. I did it from I know no one's gonna save me because no one did. I grew up knowing I need to help myself, and if I see trouble, I need to do something because I have grown up looking at adults that don't do anything but make it worse. And he was trained to run into danger. That's what an ICU nurse does. That is what his job was. The moment that woman was pushed to the ground, he went into an automatic response. And the response of those in power that hold guns is de-escalate. That is your role because you hold the ultimate power. You hold death. So your job with death between your fingers is to de-escalate. That is your first thing. The first thing that you should do. Because the last thing you should want to do is take someone's life. But they didn't. And it shows their training, doesn't it? That their first response is shoot. Aren't they supposed to protect people? Illegal or otherwise? You could see the training of both Alex and the agents in those 20 minutes, very clearly. One was trained to heal and the other was trained to kill. Yeah, it didn't stop, Wisdom. It didn't stop. That's why they're so terrified. It didn't stop. It's silly to think it has stopped. Don't really follow American politics, but I was musing on the idea of wondering if Trump would try and find some way to extend his presidency. He seems really far gone. I wouldn't put anything past him at this point, kind of like Putin has. There's an interview. I don't know when this was. There's an interview where a lot of people came to the White House. And Code Orange is talking to Zelensky. And I don't know if verbatim the quote, but the conversation went something along the lines of this. Trump realized that there had been no re-elections since the war in Ukraine began. And you can see him think, so if I want to remain president, all I have to do is make sure that the country is in so much chaos that we can't have re-elections. Oh, funny! And they move on. You can see it happen. He already came up with this. I don't know when this happened. I don't follow news actually either, so I don't know when this happened, but there's an interview with Zelensky and Code Orange in the White House, and you see him make this connection. So I wouldn't be surprised. But what? What is that, Wisdom? Is that a true thing? Doctors would not have a job without patients. Yes, this is true, Millie. What? Is there something about empathy and also Anna Arendt? I think the reason we are so divided, the two-edged sword, that everyone has a voice compared to pretty recently when you got your news from listening to the radio at a set time or reading of it. You would be surprised, Bracken, how informed people were back in the day. You would really be surprised. But yeah, this any pro and would I mean, I'm saying a lot of bad words already, so any Nazi boy can have a following now. And this is true, Bracken. And it's algorithm stuff. I don't have the energy to go into that right now because the algorithm is interesting. I don't know what you're saying there, Lesbound. Because something got censored. Exactly, Millie. He already is. You know, I mean, he basically blackmailed Minneapolis by saying we will help you with the escalation if you give us the information of the voting stuff. I don't know how that works, but that was blatant. Hey, how dare you? How dare you? Hi, Buffeteer. Yeah, I'm afraid that the whole world is just terrified for what's happening over there. I'm so sorry that you're having to live through this. It's absolute insanity. I mean, yes, wisdom. But it's all, especially American politics. It's always been so unreal to me. Yeah, that's true. I don't trust politics. I never did. Whenever something big happens, I keep wondering what they're really covering up with those news. Oh, Talamir, I could give you some stories. Like I said, empathy is the biggest weakness of mankind. Okay, I see him say that, and while he is not 100% wrong, he is wrong. But I did read a book about radical compassion, and empathy can lead to unhelpful decisions. Compassion is technically, on paper, more responsible feeling, but I bet Musk didn't read the book that far ahead. Hi, Chungus. Even you have the same power as local TV. Bracken, another thing that we don't realize here in the West is the fact that your content gets screened. Ah, I'm not sure if it's still happening, but when TikTok got bought in the first day or two, I'm not sure if it's still happening, but at least in the first day or two, you could not find any information on Epstein because you know the word, you know the word. I can't even say the word because I have proof. I have proof that the word on alone will get you sort of like suppressed by the algorithm. I read Yoko. Oh gosh, I'm not sure how to pronounce the first name. Ogawa, The Memory Police. Super interesting book. If you want to know what is happening in the brains of someone who does believe things that are really unlikely, people who are standing on the other side of the line that I have found myself, The Memory Police shows you what it's like when someone does believe that the government knows more than what you see with your own eyes. Super interesting book. The numbers of my little reel of what did I post before? I had 3 reels. One book about the Winter Trilogy. What's the other one? I don't know. Something else, and one about the Memory Police, which is about, bad things, bad things. Guess what? I don't have TikTok anymore on my phone, but I would get at least over 1,000 views for the other 2 little reels, little shorts about books. The one about I'm afraid to say it. I swear. I swear. You know how the government will sometimes delete things? That's what the book is about. Not even 300. It got suppressed by the algorithm immediately, and that was before TikTok was bought by America. I've been playing around with this stuff since last October, so the only reason I'm lying, if I'm lying, is I'm smiling, is because I know they're lying and I have proof. I just can't do anything about it. It's not the time. I have to wait a little bit longer. For-profit news media agents are there to provide information that goes against the world order plans, diluted information is a market commodity. It is wisdom, yeah. So that's why I try to get my news from real people, which is not really news, but I try to find people who are underground and who are just people, right? Just people. That's where I tend to get my news. Why are you laughing, Riku? Thank you, Chokas. I'm honestly just it's getting too heavy for to put it up in a bun. I'm getting headaches. Oh no, Loop, no, no, I don't want that. Make your what do I want to say? Do that with yourself. Find think about and create morals and ethics and principles. And if you don't fully understand what that means, look it up. Watch a video of on philosophy on what it means to have principles. I'll give you one hint. A principle is not something that changes for your friends. The principle is not something that changes because you don't like someone. Find those things, because that is what I feel like is the biggest problem. We don't really, with the loss of religion, we also lost philosophy. We lost our ability to think deeply about life and the meaning of having morals and principles. Start there. Don't no call, please. Hi, Dominique. Welcome back. Let me scroll back a little bit because I was venting. You're probably familiar with the dark triad, but are you familiar with the light triad? And both of those triads are extremes, but potentially very unhealthy. And if there's a too much in front of it, it's probably not good. Balance, yin and yang. Pizza every day is not good, but having a pizza a few times is good. It's good for your health, for your mental health. I love that wisdom. I mean, what? start the cult of your own heart, but start with morals and ethics and principles, and understand what that means. Understand what a principle is. Good, Storm. Good. I feel like not a lot of people do that, and I'm sorry to say, but I feel like in the Netherlands, especially, people are so not a thinking people. The lack of bookstores, even Dutch bookstores in this country, is just so depressing. No, well, what I meant really, that at the same time that we lost religion, we just stopped thinking about spiritual things. Because I don't necessarily tie spirituality and religion together. I feel like religion is more corporate, and spirituality is something that you cultivate yourself. But I feel like with the pendulum moving to the extreme of going away from nature and technology and instant gratification, we have lost our connection with nature and also our ability to contemplate. Because if you are constantly bombarded with noise and news and confusion, and I have to buy this and I have to buy that and I have to save money because apparently, I don't know, inflation. There is not a second in our day where we sit and actually think about, what do I feel is right? And what are my principles? What are things I will not do? I always had very strong principles. I was forced into it. You know, bad childhood is bad. There are a few silver linings. Like at 12, I already knew, yeah, no, if you cross this boundary once, you're going to do it again. I know I've learned this the hard way. So if I don't agree with something, I am not going to cross that boundary for no one. I do not care how rich you are. You could be the king of the Netherlands. I don't care. I have principles. And if you do not respect those, that's a you problem. Because I can promise you my principles will never intentionally hurt someone. Never. That's the opposite of my principles. But I don't think a lot of people have principles anymore. Yeah, Storm. No, because I want to be the only one who is a gold member with the New York pizza. I am, though. I am. Agnostic? A middle school has source criticism in the curriculum. I love that, Bracken. Good thing I will one day move to Sweden, hopefully. It's just funny when you go in a rampage. Why, Riku? No, it's not funny. Thank you for the follow, Profiteer Gaming. Hello, welcome in. What a day! This is not a normal day. I'm afraid I don't have focus. I'm coming to the realization that we're not gonna do focus. I think I am not able to. I'm tired. I'm gonna do the raffle in a little bit, and I think that's it. I think that I need to calm down a little bit more. Deep state pizza is no dirty word. Wait, what? Oh God, yes, I heard about that. I heard about that, Wisdom. Oh, no, why? They're ruining everything. I don't think you quite understand what I mean, Millie. I don't think you quite understand, but that's okay. Oh, okay, you do. Um, evolutionary. We are basically still hunter gatherers with iPhones in hand. We're just children. We're all children. Being an adult is a lie. This is my theory. Adults who have surrendered to being an adult are bitter and mean and like to humiliate other people because they cannot accept that they are an adult. And all they really want to do is play on a bouncy castle or blow bubbles. They just want to be a kid. And that's why they're so mean, because they won't allow themselves to. We have to stop it. We have to stop. Stop it. And just listen to music. Pick flowers and make flower crowns and stuff. Have fun. This is why. I think everyone is just bitter about the state that we created ourselves. See? Me too, Lube. I don't have it anymore, but I used to. I want to do it again. I used to have like a little bottle of bubbles in my bag, just in case I saw a kid crying. Because they stop crying if you blow bubbles at them. It's magic. It's really interesting. Oh, sorry, Bracken. I'm a bit slow. I get into tangents every once in a while. Go hug a tree. Yes, I try to do that every day. It's just 2 days ago that I read a piece of philosophy poem in my head while walking around listening to a random song that came on. I reflected on the terrible state of the world, but then I was reminded of the beauty of life when I saw children and their parents hugging and talking, couples holding hands as they walked past me, and the people from different cultures talking and laughing. It made me cry. It was so, oh. Look, there's so much beauty in the world. There really is, but unfortunately, those in power do influence our daily lives. Maybe you don't see it immediately, but it's true, and we do need to kind of do something about a few people. Oh, that would be terrifying, Loop. Oh, that would freak me out. No, don't do that. I live in a constant state of have I lost my mind or am I still okay? Don't do that. I would freak out. It's which is screen flipping in conjunction with the dirtying of the word. Pizza has tip cherry over the edge. Cherry is now a mercenary for hire, and she has armed gas. Listen, Wisdom, I am so close. You don't even know. You don't even know. I would recommend having a little bottle of bubbles in your pocket or your bag or something, because there's two things that I used to have in my bag when I worked at the library, especially because there were kids, man. Kids always be falling. So I would have a stash of pre-cut band-aids and bubbles. So the bubbles were for if I stumbled upon a kid that had hurt himself while outside, I would blow bubbles inside and the band-aid. But yeah, I don't know. I can't take it. When children cry, I will start crying as well. This is how bad my crying problem is, all right? If you start crying and I'm okay, if you start crying and I have to communicate with you or I can hear you cry, I will start crying. Like, actually, so it was really selfish. I had those things in my bag on my person to make sure that I wouldn't cry. Enjoy your lurk, Billy. If we have a little bit of a misunderstanding, that's okay. We agree with each other, but we may not. I mean, I think you do, but we may not be. But that's okay. You be careful out there. I know Bubbles. He's a nice guy. What? Being human is overrated. You don't have a reference point to compare to? What do you mean, Chungas? Look around you. There's animals. You give me one other animal aside from human who pays rent. I'll wait. Armed cats, a machine gun. No, no machine gun. You want to know my best weapon? I hate it. I hate it, but it's so effective. You want to know what my best weapon is? I don't need anything. Really, literally nothing. You can guess. Currently living in my own house with I want a healthy family. I started with the love of my life, which is why I'm in a perpetual state of, and excuse me for what I'm about to say, fuck the government. Same, but it seems like we're being forced to participate. Did you have sparkly stickers too? What do you mean? I stole them from school. During Christmas, we would have to make cards, Christmas cards to sell for the school. Also something they said they sent that money to like Africa and stuff. Then how come after like 3 or 4 of those things a year we would have to run marathons and collect bottles and do all this thing for charity? How come that after 6 years of that we suddenly had a new school, like brand new? New tables, new everything. Everything from the ground up built. Even at 12 years old, I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. I think that school still exists. But yes, stickers, anything sparkly. I'm a girl. I don't like diamonds though. I don't like diamonds, not necessarily, but yes. Anything that sparkles. It's a machine gun shaped bubble blower. Wisdom, in this world, even phones are mistaken for supposed weapons of destruction. So I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. Ooh, the swords, the bubble swords. I've never had one of those. Maybe this is the year that I'll invest in one of those. Favorite dinosaur? Fail. I don't know. I don't know dinosaurs. I don't know how that feels to be any other animal than human. I haven't been anything else yet. Yet, Chungus. This is the time. This is the time. Go out and be a cow. Be a cow. A dirty mouth feather. Ew, wisdom, no. Ew, stop it. That was really disgusting. Yeah, Storm. It is though. It is though. I have physically stopped a fight with a hug. Literally. There was this guy who was going to freak out, and I jumped into the and I was like, you try and hit him now. Do it. I dare you. And he couldn't. Because there was a little monkey hanging on his shoulder. It was me. So, don't make jokes. Don't make jokes about that. It works. Anything that sparkles. It's true, Juggas. It's true. There's a part next to the road where well, it depends if I go there. There's a little sign next to the road near the forest, and it always shimmers if I come there at a certain time of day because then there's sun. And I always think, what is that? And I know what it is. It's just a piece of metal. But every time I see it, my brain goes, sparkly? What is that? I was about 8 years old when I was thrown out of a classroom for being disruptive. The crime, I asked why the moon was the exact size to cover the sun perfectly during a school failed. I was, oh my wisdom, these questions made me someone who had trouble with authority. Did you have trouble with authority? They hated me. They could never give me actual punishments because I was right. Your teacher, we sent all your donations to Africa. Now I'm glad to announce the teacher's launches a new coffee machine. Something isn't adding up here. Exactly, Star. No, I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. That school was like so ahead of its time as well. The new building, it had the newest. It didn't have chalkboards anymore, and I'm talking about like 16, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. So no, 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 no. I should go back and just ask for the records because that no. But I'm pretty sure that everyone knew, because at this point I don't believe that there's anything that isn't corrupt out there. If it believes in money. And money! Hi! Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. If I could be a porcupine, I'd wrap my paws around your foot. My foot! My foot! Wait, Dominique. Is that a threat? You can probably get some pretty realistic costumes too. Probably, yeah. I might give a bear give being a bear a try. Sleeping through winter sounds like nice. What sleeps through summer? I will be that. Start if I get out from Cherry. Don't joke, Storm. I mean it. I would. I would. I did. I'll do it again. Are they, Dominique? I mean, every animal is pretty friendly as long as you don't make it feel threatened. I feel like. What? Maybe that's just me. Oh, what is this? Oh, I hope I'm keeping track of that because my desk is a little bit weird. If you come into the poo, you'll get lots of honey. I already have a honey. That would be too confusing. Oh, you're talking about the juggas. Bears are adorable. I love bears. I love all animals. It's just humans that are insistent on being as difficult as they can possibly be. Okay. Um, no, I'm really. I'm not. I need. I want to lie down. I'm so tired. I spent so much time stressed out yesterday. I'm gonna do the raffle. We have a book club. You can submit your books through Cherry or Channel Points. We have 3 separate jars. This is the regular jar and holds all the normal books. We also have a holiday specific jar and a spooky jar. So you can submit books that are maybe more winter or more spooky season, whatever it is. But for now, we're going to do the normal raffle. So, in short, this holds all your viewer submissions. There's nothing I put in here in this specific jar. I will pull 2 books. Yes, Loop, I am. I am. I'll go into it in a moment. I'll pull 2 books. I will read both, and you can choose 1 or 2, or maybe neither of them are interesting. In which case, you could maybe read the books that we're reading this month, because this is March, right? This month we are reading Flawless and the Magic Cottage. Oh, hold on. The Tetris effect. That is so funny. I would show you, but it's mirrored. It's written by Dan Ackerman. Oh, it was submitted by 40. Yeah, by 40. All right, the first book that you could choose for March, or already start if you take a little bit longer to read the book. This one is about a game so great even the Cold War couldn't stop it. Tetris is perhaps the most instantly recognizable popular video game ever made. But how did an obscure Soviet programmer working on frail and antiquated computers create a product which has now earned nearly 1 billion in sales? How did a makeshift game turn into a worldwide sensation which has been displayed at the Museum of Modern Art? Noma, really? Inspired a big budget sci-fi movie and been played in outer space. A quiet but brilliant young man, Alexei Pajitnov, had long nurtured a love for the obscure puzzle game Ben Bentominos, became obsessed with turning it into a computer game. Little did he know that the project that he labored on alone, hour after hour, would soon become the most addictive game ever made. In this fast-paced business story, not sure that is the good word to use, the reporter Dan Ackerman reveals how Tetris became one of the world's first viral hits, passed from player to player, eventually breaking through the Iron Curtain into the West. British, American, and Japanese moguls waged a bitter fight over the rights, sending their fixers racing around the globe to secure backroom deals, while a secretive Soviet organization named ELORG, ELORG, chased down the game's growing global profits. The Tetris Effect is an homage to both creator and creation, and a must-read for anyone who's ever played the game, which is to say everyone. I mean, that's kind of true. It was released in 2016, so I'm assuming that not much has changed since I added this to the jar. But let's do a really quick look at that one website. Limited access if you want a physical copy. Over here at least. If you cut the tail off the Y in money. Oh my god. Wisdom. Stop. No. And if we unmirror ourselves, then we'll learn. We'll learn. Oh no. Good job, Chungus. It took me forever to get out of bed today as well. So you just have one of those days sometimes. Yes, wisdom. There you go, Chungus. Or tea. Some freshly brewed tea. Yeah, sir, you need to get out of this because I'm getting distracted. Right, that's the first one. Oh, two yellows. All right. There's blue and yellow in here, but it's not yellow. So this is a non-fiction, the Tetris Effect. Blue! It's Fairy Tale. Is Blue still here? It's Fairy Tale by Raymond E. Feist. I need to write better. Ooh, wait, let me really quick, because this, I mean, it's an older one, actually. Oh God. Oh God, what is that? What is... Okay, interesting cover. Gavian holds it with both hands to warm fingers. Good. Good. God, freaking. Doing it on purpose? Oh, that's funny. So, Fairy Tale by Raymond A. Feist is still widely available. And it is about Phil Hastings was a lucky man. He had money, a growing reputation as a screenwriter, a happy, loving family with 3 kids, and he just moved into the house of his dreams in rural of And he just moved into the house of his dreams in rural of magic, and about to be altered irrevocably by a magic more real than any. I feel like there's something wrong there. Than he dared imagine. For with the magic came the bad thing, and the fairy, and then the cool, and the resurrection of primordial war with the forgotten people. A war that not only the Hastings but the whole human race could lose. Okay. Okay. This one is from 1988. 490 pages. It's still widely available, so I guess it's still popular. I don't know this author. I have no idea. I have no idea. It's golden and pleasant, and I have to go out and deal with my car. Got a dead battery in the driver door for a shot again. how do you deal with that? How do you open it up again? Don't use hot water. That is... Oh, fell to the ground. 5 years before I was born. Really? I wasn't here yet either. In 88. 3 more years. 3... Almost 4, because I was born at the end of the year and this book was released in February. But February! I hate this month. Right, I will make the thingies. I will make a prompt. I will make the channels. A bag with warm water should help. I don't know what you could do with the door. I really don't. I would stay home. I would just stay home. Okay. And lastly, I have already started. Well, I have started Stephen King's 11/22/63, which is the first book I'm reading for the Hermit Road Trip, which I explain in this bit. Okay, I didn't understand my own command line. What is this? Okay, this takes you to the video where I could make a better one now because I understand it a little bit better. But in that video, I explained what I want to do with the Hermit Road Trip. Basically, I want to travel the world through books. This is the first one I have picked up. It's sort of a safe option because it's Stephen King. I'm familiar with Stephen King. I do want to do a little bit more research about Stephen King. I'm going to stop saying Stephen King now. I want to do some research on him, but also what I didn't expect was that this book was going to offer me a guideline on how I want to do this, because I have never made a reading vlog. I am completely new to YouTube to begin with. I'm just, kind of finding out as I go what I like and what I don't. I'm still very much in experimental phase. I shouldn't do that. I should just stick with a few decisions, but it's really hard because I'm having too much fun. But I was really insecure about what I wanted to do with the reading vlogs for the Hermit Road Trip, because I want to make a video for each book. I don't want to make it like a reality show, something that I vlog myself every day. No, I want to vlog every book separately. And here I already found something, and that instantly gave me inspiration. So it's about a man who is going to travel back in time and try to save Kennedy. Because if Kennedy doesn't die, then the butterfly effect, a whole load of other things don't happen or do happen. And one of the things that is said really quickly, and this is why I love reading. So let me see. So they're in a conversation about that this man is sending the main protagonist back into the past, and explains what he has to do there. And what he has to do there is stay for a few years so he can stop the assassination of JFK. And this man goes into an explanation, and this is the conversation. No, but listen, do you think that if you saved John Kennedy's life, his brother Robert is still at the Ambassador Hotel at 12:15 in the morning on June 5th, 1968? And even if he is Siran still working in the kitchen? Maybe, but the chances had to be awfully small. If you introduce a million variables into an equation, of course the answer is going to change. Or what about Martin Luther King? Is he still in Memphis in April of 68? Even if he is he still standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel at exactly the right time for James Earl Ray to shoot him? What do you think? If that butterfly theory is right, probably not. That's what I think too, says the man who was explaining the travel. And if MLK lives, the race riots that followed his death don't happen. Maybe Fred Hampton doesn't get shot in Chicago. Who? He ignored me. For that matter, they continue. But my brain is like, who? And I went into research mode. And the point of the Hermit Road Trip is not just read books, learn and grow myself and see places of the world, but also discover things like this. Fred Hamilton was a very, very, very important person. An American activist and revolutionary socialist, he came to prominence in his late teens and early 20s in Chicago as deputy chairman of the National Black Panther Party and chair of the Illinois chapter. Sorry. He founded the anti-racist, anti-classist Rainbow Coalition. I am not American, so even though I know a little bit of these things, I had never heard of this man, and I don't really know what the Rainbow Coalition is. I have found a rabbit hole that I am going to enjoy a lot, and I'm so sorry, but that is the point of this. I am going to educate people. This is a detail that I want to dive into in the Hermit Road Trip video about this book. I'm not just going to talk about the book and the author, I'm going to tell you what I learned. These are the things that I love about reading. And I'm pretty sure that he probably meant it like that as well. Who? So I'm going to dig into Fred Hamilton's life. Just so you know, if you don't know, the reason that I am very adamant about adding it, this is that person is... I'm going to give you a trigger warning, but it ties back to what is happening right now in the US. This guy stood for peace and love and helping other people. Right? He was drugged and assassinated in his sleep. And that is all I can tell you about him. I skimmed what happened to him. I skimmed a little bit of the Rainbow Coalition, and yeah, aside from a reading vlog and telling you what is happening in this book, I'm going to tell you what I learned. I'm going to give you facts. I'm going to do research. And I was going to do that today, but I'm getting nauseous because I'm very tired. So I need to go lie down. Okay, the easiest way to deal with that nonsense is to crawl in through the passenger door. The easiest way. Open the latch to the bonnet. Put the charger on, wait. Start the car, get behind the wheel from the passenger side and drive to a heated garage and let the car thaw for a few hours while reading at a cafe. I fully support this, Chunkas. Do it. Oh, hold on. If you have cars in winter, always make sure that you check there's no cats. That's no cats looking for heat. If you come home and your car is still warm, there's cats that you know that crawl into the space between your tires and sometimes even in your please check for little animals, okay? Please. I try not to think about them because I don't have a car, but yeah. I've never heard of it, Wisdom. Never. Yeah, Lube, I did. And I'm only just starting. So, I mean, bear with me. I'm really trying to figure out how I want to do this. It's really weird to film myself reading. I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird. It's like, okay, I'm going to read now. Setting up camera. I need to figure it out. I need to figure out how I want to do this, but I want to, like, that little bit, it was like a lightning bolt in my brain, like, oh, I can see how I want to make that work in a video. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to be good at it from the beginning, because what I see in my brain is like drawing. Sometimes you see something in your brain and then you pick up a pencil and you're like, that's not what I thought I was going to make. Could be, but yes, I am so happy that I started with this, even though it's sort of safe. I think it's going to be Maine, right? Where was he actually assassinated, JFK? I have no clue. Wasn't it Maine? And Stephen King, I was going to not say Stephen King anymore, sorry. Wasn't he from Maine as well? Because I think it's going to be Maine. I asked my little brother. Sorry. Go back to sleep. Good boy. Okay. Oh, really, Wisdom? Okay. Really? Oh, Loop says no. Uh-oh. That's one of the reasons why I love your curiosity is endearing. You can learn. Anyone can be curious. Anyone can be curious. I promise. You were born curious, and then school happened. Every kid is curious until adults say, "Stop asking questions. You're annoying." Because they don't know the answer, and I don't want to admit that I don't know. But yeah, so I asked my little brother to make something for the maps. I have two maps. Now, I asked that on a whim because I know he's very handy. I've seen the things that he's making. He's like a preteen, so he's very young, and I wanted to give him the opportunity. Now, I don't know if it's going to work, but I want to give him the opportunity. That is why I haven't hang any of the maps I have up yet, because I have two maps that are scratch maps, one of Europe and one of the world, and the world also has every state of America. So it's not gone. I didn't forget. Oh, Texas. Oh, god dang. Oh, I knew they talked about that already. Why am I stupid? Don't talk to yourself like I just did. Don't do that. That's very mean. Don't do it. I'm silly. um. Okay, I'm gonna need your help then to decide. Also, I need to say this. Look, they match. I didn't think about it, but I'm very proud of myself. They match with a lot of books. Let me be happy and silly, okay? Look, it still matches. Okay, I'm done. I noticed it and I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I didn't even. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna need your help in that case to decide what I'm gonna scratch on the map. But I'm still waiting on. I don't know what he's gonna make. I told him this is it, and if you can, then great. But if you can, then that's fine too. Because I did ask it last minute. But I thought it would be cute if I could have that. But the assassin travels to Texas through time via Maine. Yeah, that's why I had Maine in my brain. I think because there's been a lot of talk about Maine. Don't count, Storm. No. My car stood still for a week in sub. Oh no, there's serious gas under the banana reason. Okay, Chungus, I believe you. I'm so worried about the little animals. I'm so worried. I know it's silly, and there's a lot of things I don't. I'm stopping my thoughts right there. Asks AI about the correlation between violet nails and book covers. I didn't do it on purpose. But I had the books in my hands and I just started giggling. Why? How? Now I can't read this because it doesn't match. I can't read this. I can't be seen in public with that. What do you mean? I gotta go. Do you recognize the toddler? The toddler increase of energy? I'm gonna crash. So I gotta go too, Riku. I'll be back tomorrow. Oswald is the assassin, but Jake traveled through time. See, so you gave me something easy, but at the same time a puzzle, which is exactly what I need in life. But I'll ask you. We'll get through the book. I noticed someone else read it too. That's amazing. But this is Hermit Road Trip, so there's no necessarily deadline. I wanna make sure that I at least feel okay with it, because it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be my first reading vlog, and I have all these ideas that I have no experience in making, but I'm going to do my best. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry this is a ranting day, but this is what I wanted to say yesterday, and I had to get it out, and now I need to lie down. I know wisdom. I can't. No, that's horrible. We don't do that. We match our nail polish with our books. All right. Go by history. I don't know, Loop. I don't know. I'm really not that far. I'll turn the camera and film myself reading a little bit more, but I'm only at page 160, so I'm not that deep in. We'll figure it out. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. Look at the schedule to see what that means for you. Please be nice to each other. If you don't have anything nice to say, you can just say nothing. I know that's sometimes not as satisfying, but you know what? At the end of the day, you will probably have forgotten the encounter while they are still seething. Choose love. You give yourself a little bit of kindness as well. You are a person too. And don't talk like I just did to myself. Don't do that. Be nice, right? I love you. Drink water. Let's have a sip. I don't think I had a sip at all. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye.